Hello and welcome to Meal Mentor Live. My name is Scott and I am one of the co-founders at Happy Herbivore, and today we are talking to a Meal Mentor customer, Anna, and we'll bring Anna on right now. So, hi Ann, welcome, and I'm so thankful that you decided to take time out of your day to come talk to us. I'm ready to get started. Can you kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you came to plant-based diet?
So one of the things I like about these video chats that we're doing is everybody has a little bit different story, a little bit different. I was partially raised by my grandmother, who is a registered dietitian. So what that means to many people is, remember the food pyramid and all of the right food groups you're supposed to be eating from. So she raised me mostly and taught me how to cook. So you can imagine all of the foods that I was eating. So for most of my life, I thought I was super healthy. All of the materials I was reading and consuming told me that I was healthy, but I just felt kind of ick, if that makes sense. And then last year, a girlfriend told me to watch this documentary. And so I watched a couple, 2-3 documentaries on a plant-based diet, and I was really intrigued. And for me, what was most intriguing is how to make your body more efficient, how to process the food differently in a way that's allowing you to absorb the nutrients that you need to live a healthy life. And that's what really resonated with me. And another piece of my history is I have a genetic heart condition. So I am the proud owner of a pacemaker and defibrillator in my 40s. That's kind of strange. That's not what most people expect when they hear me and see me. But that's my reality. And my heart condition isn't the typical that you hear about that's like a plumbing issue. So I've got great cholesterol. I'm fit. I don't have to watch my diet. I don't have to watch my salt intake. But one of the things I learned, and especially in listening to Shortcut to Slim, is animal products are just harder on your body. That's how I interpreted the data for me and what it means to me. And I figured, my heart's working really hard as it is. And so anything I could do to make my heart not work so hard and for the rest of my body to process the nutrients that I needed in an easy way, that was important. So I've been following this lifestyle. I won't even say this way of eating, but this lifestyle for the last year. And I feel better as a result of it. So that's the quick skinny on me, how I was eating, why I'm eating the way that I am now.
Awesome. So, you're newer to the diet. August 2017. It's not even been a year yet. Getting close, but so I guess. I'm kind of curious, like, what was it like for you getting started? And, like, what were some things that you found challenging when you were just kind of getting going?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking that. So, goodness, I have to think back a year. I think it wasn't hard for me to eat fully plant-based because I love veggies. My diet had been probably 3/4 plant-based anyway. So cutting out the meats was not super hard for me. And having the meal plans to follow was really easy. That was a big deal. I think probably the hardest thing was just habit, just eating out of habit. And I had to stop and make a conscious choice for everything I put in my mouth. Is this something that's going to help me? Is this something that's going to add to my personal goals or take away from my personal goals? And so I got in this place where I get in the habit of just eating the way I was. And I struggled with eating out, with eating socially, and I had to be creative to problem solve. Now, what can I do? And one of the things I found really helpful in solving for that is in the Facebook chat, so many of the members, potatoes, it's a real thing, right? It's a that potatoes can solve all world problems. Because wherever I go, there is a healthy starch available, if you will. So I don't have to eat salads when I go out to a restaurant. Worst case scenario, I can find a potato just about anywhere. And I don't feel like I'm giving up something because I'm nurturing who I am and what I need. But I think that was probably the biggest struggle getting started is I think many times we eat out of habit. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go full bore and say, okay, I'm only going to eat plants every day for the rest of my life, because I kind of needed to make sure that this was the right change for me. But it probably only took about 30 days to fully transition, because I just felt so great.
Wow.
Changing the way I eat just made me feel better. So it wasn't super hard.
Okay, so if you felt so great, do you have any idea of what the things maybe were that you were eating that maybe were not making you feel great?
Yeah. So every morning, my entire life, I've always had eggs and bacon or sausage for breakfast. My husband and I make breakfast together, and that's what we've always eaten. And my husband previously did more of a traditional Atkins diet, so very heavy in the meats and the fats, if you will. And that's how I started my day. And then I would add a fruit into that. So if you can picture what that was doing to my body, it had a lot of the heavy proteins in there. And then I was adding a sugar on top of it. And what the output of that is, what I was feeling, what was hard on my body is I would have this energy spike and then this energy dive. And so I felt like I was always on this roller coaster of tummy fullness and kind of these false energy spikes that just didn't feel good to me. And with my heart condition on top of that, needing to regulate my heartbeat a little bit, my pacemaker keeps my heartbeat in kind of a small range, if you will, just so it doesn't have to function so hard. I was throwing my body into this peak and valley all of the time and not understanding what I was doing. So my diet before a plant-based diet was really not helping me to fuel efficiently, said succinctly, I guess. And even now today, I have to stop and think about, even though I'm plant-based, what foods do I choose to put in my body? So I really love overnight oats. It's my favorite. Every morning, if I could, I would eat the French toast overnight oats. So for those of you that don't remember what that one is, it's the one with almond milk, the oats, and I put them in a little mason jar, and then it's just maple syrup. So it's super easy. I can make it in a pinch at night. But what I found for me is that's a little too heavy on the sugar content first thing in my day. And I needed something not more satiating, but a little bit different nutrient mix. So I really do better with like potatoes or spinach in my body first thing, because that gives me a healthy start to the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So kind of how what I was eating, and I found, that's not quite working out so well, even in a world.
That's great. And so I want to encourage everybody to thumbs and like if you hear anything that you say that Anna says that you like. One of the things I really like that I want to thumbs up on was you had talked about how, like at the beginning of your story, to that last question I asked, was about how it brought you closer to your goals, and it was like that like you realize that this switching the way that you're. Or I'm sorry, like every meal that you were looking at was kind of like is this bringing me closer to my goals? And I think that's a really, really key point, because I've mentioned this before, but like moralizing our choices can be bad, because a lot of times we want to be bad. And so, like, oh, I'm going to go eat some ice cream because I like being bad, and so like, it's like, but you can actually kind of give yourself a little pause if you have this thing and say, well, okay, this is more about like bringing me closer to my goals, and it's something I use, maybe not every day, but every week. It's definitely something I'm thinking about. So I really, really, really appreciated that comment. So, what's something that's going good right now with you guys that's maybe recently, like a nice tip or something that's just really worked well, that like a change that's going on?
Oh yeah. So it's summertime. I'm pretty active. The socialization is a bit up for me. So I'm out socially with friends. I'm doing things, and I struggle with snacks. So I'm a snacker, and I know that in digesting why I snack and processing that mentally, it's a couple reasons. One, emotionally, there's something going on emotionally with me that I need to check in and say, why do I think that I need sugar right now, or whatever it is. And another reason is, again, I just kind of get in the habit of entertaining with people and what they're snacking on. So the way that I found to combat that for me, and I actually saw this, I think, in the Facebook post, I learned so much from our peer group here when everybody's sharing that works well for them. One person was struggling with snacking, and I think Lindsay responded and said, it's okay. don't even try to cut out snacking. Instead, plan for that. If that's what you do and you know you snack when you make meals or you're going to snack anyway, choose a healthy snack and set out a quantity of that. So right now my healthy snack is almonds if I need something salty, and if I need something a bit more sugary. Actually, what I started doing is the overnight oats with the little all natural dark chocolate chips in them. And I freeze those in little freezer balls, kind of like what you would if you were making chocolate chip cookie dough.
Nice.
So I have just a sweet snack, and I just set out 3. And I just set out a 1/4 cup of almonds, and I just have that ready for me. So if I need a snack, it's there, and I don't have to think about it. I don't berate myself. Grab a bag of Doritos because I have something salty in the almonds. So I think that's what's going really well for me is I finally found, at least this week, so far it's working for me. We'll give it time, but so far I found the right solution to my personal snacking is to just plan for it and set out snacks.
That's wonderful. Thank you for giving those examples. Those are really cool. So, what were the oats again? You said you like freeze, like are they like? Is it you like make oatmeal, or I'm just curious?
Yeah, good question. So I make the overnight oats just like Lindsay has it in the breakfast options. The one I've been choosing lately for my snack, my sweet decadent snack, has just chocolate chips in it.
Okay.
So I make it the night before, just in a mason jar like you normally would that I'm going to eat. And then in the morning, I press out the excess liquid. The liquid I choose to use is almond milk. So I press out the excess so it has a firmer consistency. And I just roll them, just ball it up a little bit like you would if you were making chocolate chip cookie dough. I put it in the freezer on a cutting board on parchment paper. And it freezes pretty quickly. And I like the flavor because I already like overnight oats anyway, but then I feel like I'm getting a sweet treat, and when everybody else is making something, my kids are making cookies or whatever, I don't feel like I'm missing out, and I have something that's good for me, and I've got the sweetness, and it's just enough. So I don't need to eat the whole batch like if I were making cookies. It's just enough.
Nice. That's really cool. I like that. And we're getting some praise hands from Shuggy. That's funny. Yeah, I love that. That's a great little tip. So let me see here. What would you recommend to somebody who's just getting started? What do you think are the most important things that they should be doing?
Yeah, I think getting started for somebody, it can be overwhelming, right, to make that switch to a plant-based diet. So I would say find what your biggest struggles are and solve those first. So for me, I struggle with portion control, and I struggle with quick decisions. So the way I combated that was I do meal prep in advance, and I don't meal prep everything. I only meal prep breakfast and lunch because I like to make a family dinner with my husband and my son, and that's something that's our typical family engagement. So I don't meal prep the dinner, but breakfast and lunch I do. And just getting started, I think that was important for me because it meant that I wasn't eating too much. It helped me with portion control because they were in individual containers in my fridge. And it solved with that quick reaction of, oh my goodness, I'm famished. I must have food this second. Then I knew that I was putting healthy food in my body that it was ready to eat. And worst case scenario, if I go awry and I don't, I have too much extra, I don't feel like I'm being really wasteful because it's a small serving. And the small servings at the end of the week, if I have extra, I can put them in the fridge. I can give them to a neighbor that just had a baby, and she probably a quick snack too. That I think was the biggest thing if you're just getting started is find what your struggle is and solve for that one thing. You can't do it all and be perfect. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy about this community is I see so many posts from people saying, oh, I really messed up last night. Went to a ball game and ate everything at the concession stand or whatever it is that somebody did poorly that they believe is poor in their mind. But this community is so cool because time and time again, I see people responding, it's okay. Today's a new day. Start fresh today. Honor your intentions today. And so that's the other thing I think I would say for somebody starting new is you don't have to be perfect. And your perfect is not the same as somebody else's perfect. It's what works for you. So just try to honor your own intentions each day. And if you mess up, no big deal. Start again.
Yeah. I mean, there was 10 amazing quotes right there. It was wonderful. Thank you. The thing that I really like, you're saying honor honor this day. I like that because it's like you're starting a new day. And that's, I think it's really key to just kind of realize that, the great thing is when you sleep at night and you fast, right, you're kind of like, you're kind of getting back to kind of like a baseline. And so it allows you to kind of get up and get back on that good start. Obviously, sometimes if you eat really bad the night before, maybe you actually feel kind of hungover from food, but I mean, that's the way I interpret it, is like if it's too salty, too sweet, it just feels like being like hungover or something to me, And I don't drink anymore, so it's like it's not alcohol. It is clearly just like processed, like heavily processed foods. It's sugar. It's, I don't know, maybe something else. But yeah. Well, and sugar alcohols end up in a lot of stuff nowadays. You're just not even paying attention, and yeah. So I have Crohn's disease, and I don't know if that's even actually been something that's talked about much in the or if we've ever even announced that. But it's I found that like the sugar alcohols would actually cause me like digestive distress or whatever. So random stuff, And one of the things I know Lindsay has talked a little bit about, like all these like random things in food or whatever. But I'm getting way off topic here. But yes, because I have like a million little things that I think are interesting and like tips and stuff like that. I'm always thinking about. So. I'm going to go back and grab a lot of those quotes, and we'll make sure that those get shared. I think there was a lot of great stuff in what you said. One of the things I want to know more about is like what, like I don't even know how to ask this question really. So how did you start getting kind of value from the community? Like, did you have to interact, or were you just able to just be passive? I'm one of the things I'm trying to unlock is how to get more people involved in the community, and because once people get kind of connected a little bit, maybe they develop a friendship or they just see the value. They tend to stick around a little longer, and I think that's, not even from a business perspective, but from like their perspective, like I think they will be, other people will be better off if they stick around and get support and stuff like that. And so I guess I'm just curious what your thoughts are around the community and how you kind of got it started, so to speak.
Yeah, you're so right on about that, because those people that choose to engage, I think, are more successful for whatever version of success is for them, right? Because we're all different. We all have different reasons for being here. And I do see those folks that post a lot, and they're very encouraging. So like a Natasha or Amy or Kirsten, or, pick somebody that you see, Karen, a lot of posts from. I think a couple things helped me get engaged. One, I recognized that it was genuinely a welcoming, friendly place, right? What I don't see in this community of people are folks berating your choices, whether it's a health-based reason or an animal ethics reason, whatever it may be. I don't see that negativity in this community, so that's really important. It's a welcoming, safe place, right? And then I also don't see in this group of people posts that are, I don't even know how to say that well, holier than thou, or I'm the all know all be all source, right? Everybody acknowledges that we're on this learning journey together. So those are the things that made it easy for me to engage. So when I engage, very rarely do I post pictures of my food. I don't know why that is, because I see other people posting food pictures and like, that is beautiful. That needs to be in like an advertisement somewhere because it's just gorgeous. We need to take pictures for Lindsay's next cookbook or something, because these member posts are gorgeous. But I think what helped me get engaged, or how I did it, is I like responding to other people when it's something where I have a contribution. So I never remember the date or the name of a recipe. I just can't do that. If that is Natasha's space, she's got that corner of the market just covered really well, and a couple others do too. Then instead, where I engage are things more like when somebody's struggling. I'm generally a positive person. I'm fairly outgoing because I believe in that. That's my life. That's my every fiber of being. Because I have a heart condition, every day is genuinely precious to me. That's how I view life. So when somebody else is struggling, it's easy for me to comment and post and say, hey, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing your struggle. Thanks for being transparent. Thanks for putting yourself out there. And I'm here. I'm here thinking of you because I too am having my struggles. Or you might see some of my posts. I'm the one that I always put the little pink flower behind things. That's kind of my thing that just kind of says, hey, I'm here. I care about you. I love you. And I want to see more. So that's a way that I can engage, is more to support other people. And a couple of times I've made posts on, gosh, I'm having a really hard day. The thing I struggled with most recently is portion control, because my husband is 6'2" and 220 pounds. He's a big guy. I'm not. I'm 5'4" and 3/4, like 5'5" on a good day. I don't need that much food. So recently I posted that I'm struggling with portion control, because in my brain, I feel like fair is fair. I want everything he has on his plate. I want that too, because I'm famished. And I'm trying to remember that my body doesn't need that amount of fuel to be efficient or successful. And so I made a post that, gosh, I'm struggling. And I didn't really ask the community for feedback, but I just needed to put it out in space to acknowledge, hey, today's a hard day. I got so much support and positivity in return. Wow. That just, it just kind of kept me going. Wow. So that's what I would say to people that are kind of like, do I support? Listen, nobody's going to challenge you. Nobody's going to say you're not doing it right? Because it's your journey.
Yeah.
You do you, I'll do me. But this is a place where if you're struggling with something, it's a safe place to post. Or if you think you're amazing and made the coolest, most beautiful meal in the world, please share that, because I want to steal it from you. So please post. It helps.
That's great. Totally. Awesome. Wow. So this has been a great interview. So I want to always follow up with kind of like who you think we maybe should interview next. What do you, who should we get on here?
Oh, wowzers. That is the hardest question. I didn't even prepare for that one. So the people that I follow the most are the ones that have been interviewed. It's like a Kirsten, Amy, Natasha. There's a Karen out there that I don't think I've heard from yet. I appreciate her posts. I think it might be fun to hear from somebody that's brand new that might be really struggling. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds a little crazy and nerdy, but I think if there's somebody out there that's willing, so post friends, if you want to be interviewed, I want to hear from somebody who's new and struggling and is unsure and is willing to just be transparent and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Thanks for posting. That I think would be super slick, because everybody's already sharing really good ideas. So if there's somebody that needs to be lifted up a little bit and is willing to put themselves out there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Put it in the comments, folks. Yeah, if you want to be involved.
Throw your own name out there. That's how this works sometimes, because we want to hear from you and what you're struggling, because I think that might help us engage at a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. And that's I think that's a fantastic idea. It's something I would really like to do. And we, so we'll have to do that. I think that's really cool. I was like going to ramble for a moment, so I'm trying to catch myself on some of the ramble stuff. So, well, thank you, Anna, for doing this today, and thank you everybody for watching. If you're new to Meal Mentor or new to Happy Herbivore, Meal Mentor, we basically help you eat healthy with giving you meal plans that are plant-based, vegan. They're very adaptable. There's very simple recipes and ingredients. You can make most recipes in 15 minutes or less. We've got a loving and supportive community, and we'd love to have you. So if you have any questions, please email support@getmealplans.com or reach out on any of the number of channels that we have out there. So thank you again, Anna. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed talking to you today, and everybody have a great day.